Hello and welcome to episode 38 of my Endwalker playthrough. All of our allies are out searching for Allagan relics and adamantine alloys. Which leaves the question, what are we going to be doing? So let's find out. We've already spoken to everyone, or at least we assume that none of them are going to have anything new to say. So let's talk to Alphino. Alphino is resisting the urge to pat himself on the back. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and Shar or sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do or be of service? You've already done more than enough. If I had to save, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Allagan technology. You there, the lad with the red eyes matching the hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. If only Master Kokoro knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with the preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favour. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. It would only be an opportunity to familiarise ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse, and if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, aren't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you're mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. The Sharlayan hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. Oh, they are heading that way. Let's have a quick word with guard here. I shall endeavour to provide Master Kokoro, or Koki-Kol, with whatever information he should require. Ether right, where are you? Or Ether current, where are you? West, the other side of this? Everyone else did just head the other direction though. From here, to here, up to here, to here. Where did they go? Yeah, all the way around to there. Okay, we'll see you over there, or whenever I reach the next Aetherite. Aether current. I'll see you in a bit. I found 2 of 6. Round here it is. And let us hop, skip, and jump over to the quest location. Do my senses deceive me? In the shadow of yon corner. One can but hope this leadeth not to mischief or mischievous undertakings. What can you see? That just looks like a chocobo porter. What do you see? We'll find out. Surprised as I was to learn the forums planned to send everyone to the moon, I can't imagine how the common folk must feel about it. I don't mind a bit of heavy lifting, but I draw the line at paperwork. So much as wave a sheaf of documents at me, and I'll put my lance through it. What a quaint little settlement this is. It's a shame it's hidden underground. In order to protect the secrets of the central circuit, the researchers must navigate a bewildering maze of paperwork before they are permitted to return to the surface. I suppose it's no different than any other aspect of Sharlayan society. We do love our bureaucracy. It's very much a mirror of the city above, which is perhaps how it came to be called Sharlayan Hamlet. From what I can tell, a lot of people actually live down here. I don't know how much we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scholark Money Chainers mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Ep38 once work is done. Okay, so we won't need to go to the Ep38 until after we've done our task. We want to be on inside of this. Can we jump over this? Not quite. It is just too high. Still begs the question of... Hello, I see you. I'll worry about you later. Still begs the question as to what Urianger saw. Oh, hello. Are you one of those new helpers? I don't know why I gave that an accent. Working on the Aether Burner. Oh dear, I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I would choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading samples day in, day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one would be cross if I misplaced a few ligmas or what have you. The forum's got enough on their plate as it is. What with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. Lots of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortuno and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Helping with the Ark? Even with all the power Master Cuckold's managed to squeeze out of the Aether Burner, it's still not enough, apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we had begun the exodus sooner. People are dying and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan, and all will be well. Nowhere near here. Offering to help? That's very kind. I should be able to organise the rest of the documents myself. It's mostly a list of things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whatever else, whatever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person, after having communicated with them in such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I'm not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. Why, I'd much prefer something smaller and fluffier. Like that behatted rabbit that just ran by. There's a behatted rabbit running around? Was that what I heard a second ago? Oh, there's a frog over there, but no, the thing I'm hearing moving is this guy over here using some kind of auto hotkey to very briefly press the forward key to stop themselves from logging out. Because, oh god, the queue times. I mustn't have the queue times. I'm only going to be away for an hour. I would have to wait 4 to get back in. Which, to be fair, is a reasonable concern. But still. It's spiting the other people in the queue at the minute that want to get in. Ah, this is what you perchance saw in the distance. It would appear the Loprrits have infiltrated Sharlayans' most heavily guarded facility. How, I know not. I imagine they were invited, and you know it. What joy to simply sample the delights of Aetheris. How marvellous it is to see you again. You'll be pleased to hear I've learned much since our fascinating discussion at the Cavatorium. It's all thanks to Urianger, you see. He taught me the finer points of cooking, which, despite my name, I knew very little about. So many dishes, so many hard-to-pronounce words. Like flambe? Actually, I was rather hoping he would show me how to bake an Archon loaf. They're quite popular, I hear, though it doesn't sound like it contains any flavour to speak of. Still, if that's the sort of thing your kind enjoys, I shall make enough to last the whole journey. I apologise, Cookingway. Sorry. Crikey, I wasn't expecting to see you here, Nathan. I'm sorry I didn't have the chance to say goodbye, and for, having those other Loprrits attack you, terrible misunderstanding, that. Not to worry though, as all have since recovered from their rather savage beating you administered. Yeah, I did go kind of overboard. They bear you no ill will. Well, perhaps a little, on account of the savagery. But time heals all wounds. Most, anyway. Fancy meeting you here, Nathan. Our friends in the forum brought us to see their teeny tiny boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is Aetheris itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they are rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare, and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chatter, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. That'd be fun, or won't that be fun? Okay, so I guess we're showing the Loprrits around. Fair enough. Try as he might, Urianger cannot free himself of the Loprrits. A tour of Labyrinthos. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Bestway Burrow, it would be in our best interest to have the Loprrits acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal of their Sharlayan collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspective. Mayhaps thou art better suited to lead this venture. That's a marvellous idea. Why don't we begin with the great what's-it over there, over yonder? Ah yes, the what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to Nathan. But I don't live here. I almost certainly don't know what half of this stuff does. I mean, that looks like a water tower. If that's what they're looking at. Where are they? Up here. The Loprrits' technical expertise does far outstrip our own. We would be wise to allow them to form their own conclusions as to the function of the various apparatus, rather than offering uninformed suppositions of our own. Unless, that is, unbeknownst to me, thou art possessed of surprising knowledge concerning the construction and operation of advanced Sharlayan what's-its. God damn you, Urianger. This is all very intriguing, I'm sure, but where are the food preparation stations? What's your word for it? Kitchens. That reminds me, Puddingway, our newly appointed chief of pudding research, a discipline he himself founded after sampling Urianger's delights, has gone in search of Aetheris' finest sweet treat. Well, provided that it's a pudding, as that's all he ever talks about these days. Have you seen him? Not recently. My word, what a magnificent architecture. Such a cumulative cultivator. I have made several adjustments to my own work to match this degree of craftsmanship. I shall leave no corner unrounded. Considering Singingway and Growingway's specialities, I expected them to pay full attention to your explanation. I'm sure it will be most informative. What are they? Are they specifically looking at this thing here? Oh, this thing we actually know what it does. This is pumping water up and then putting it into the air. Because that is a gigantic pump that goes underground, which means that these are water towers. They're storing water. Goodness me, to build something so large without creation magic, it's positively stupendous. Perhaps you could direct our attention to its most important features. Search the apparatus for points of interest. You may move the mouse and such, blah 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 blah. Okay, so this here is a giant pump. Observe the mushroom-like thing. Observe the tanks. These are what we think are the evaporators. You spot an amber storm, an especially lively one at that. It would appear that the concept you observed in another time, another place, was a proof for life in the wider world, somehow. Metallic tube. Is that water I hear from inside that great tube? It must be because those cogs and giant wheel. Must be because that cog and giant wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they're drawing up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside, too. An Archimedes lift, is it? It's a little bit too vertical to be an Archimedes lift. I think you would lose far too much water using an Archimedes lift with this kind of elevation, but I could be wrong. Mushroom-like thing. That looks like the trees in Greatest Endsvale. Hold on, that's a bit. It's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big at the top, big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. I called it. So that these are the only things that we're basically guessing on. I'm fairly sure these are responsible for evaporating the water into the air. It's a little hard to see from here, but the giant golden pipe connects to the top of those tanks. Or it's filtering the water, one of the two. And I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. This must be for purifying the water drawn up from below. Apologies, that crack was picked up by my mic. If I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install in even the harshest of environments. For us Loprrits, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of utmost import for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that people of Etheris sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Many settlements in Thanalan are built near an oasis. Areas near waterfall are common sites for villages in Giabania. Both true. Basically, you build your settlement near existing water. Fresh water. So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can only provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on far more than we anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual. It may be worth learning more about exactly how they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alphano spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Loprrits will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid. We must journey beyond the sanctuary of the Sharlayan hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean that we have to brave the untamed wilderness? A valid concern indeed. We could not help but notice many dangerous-looking creatures with nasty biting teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. We were not escorted here by were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big nasty teeth, Loprrits may appear to be a... Let's try that again. Regrettably, to many hungry predators with the aforementioned big nasty teeth, Loprrits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. Might I impose upon these to assist in securing safe passage to the Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to the Living-Way and Cookingway. I entrust Singing-Way and Growing-Way to thy care. A more valiant protector they could never wish for. Godspeed. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way. The water extractor. To the water extraction. What's it? I thought this is the water extraction. What's it? And that is the water aerification or aerosolation. What would be the term of making water to water vapor, aerosolizing it? What is that process called? I do not know. Is it aerosolation? It doesn't sound right. I have a feeling the way forward is not as clear as we would like. Would you go ahead and take a look? Perhaps you could tell the local beasties that we're not nearly as delicious as we might appear. Come at me. Okay, fine, I'll come to you. That was not the ability I meant to use, but it's sufficient anyway. But thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction what's-it is worth these harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. I am very much glad I got my mount speed boost. We are here. I couldn't help notice a distinct lack of carrots along the way, or many of the other vegetables I was expecting to see, though I did catch a glimpse of some sort of bipedal tomato charging about. Must have been my imagination. No, those are a thing. You've done well to see those two safely here. They can get a bit skittish at the best of times, so I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't run off and get themselves killed. That was all very exciting, but I'd rather not do it again. Wait, how exactly are we planning to head back later? Let's get moving. That building looks nice and solid and safe. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lies at the top, at the lift's top. Pray, follow me. Up we go, I guess. On this occasion, it would behoove us to seek the counsel of those qualified to describe the working of this apparatus. They may also be in possession of schematics and other useful documentations, should the Loprrits request them. As the forum's esteemed guest, 'tis unlikely that they would be refused. Yet thou knowest as well as I the challengeable disposition of Sharlayan bureaucrats. That was terrifying, but at least the scenery was more pleasant than what's-its-name Garlemord. As the first impression of Etherius, it was far more favourable. Anyway, onwards and upwards, quite literally, as is the case here. As I understand, places like Labyrinthos are the exception rather than the rule. You don't all build enormous underground living spaces like this, surely? We do not. Forgive me for asking, but are we any closer to the kitchen? Come to think of it, why am I even here? Atmospheric manipulators are hardly my area of expertise. Marvellous, simply marvellous. So this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently, most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. You're very lucky that Etherius just happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I can't wait to see more of it. Cookingway is eager for a change of venue, or at the very least, a change of what's it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I'd rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where is the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at the Mithril Orgonomics. As I imagine, Cookingway and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, wouldst thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Urianji was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if not too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention, Etherius will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is still time. Let us book no further delay. Book no further delay. This is the place, yes. A heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I spotted several of the fruits and vegetables featured in our compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I've read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crop without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they'll be willing to part with a few samples. Cookingway is now accompanying you, keeping him to your side, blah 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 blah. Hi again, Jabek. What a fine mess this is. Oh, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we. Let's try this again. We've all got to find ways to do what we do down here, up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive their new environments, so many species are doomed to extinction. So, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. I merely wish to sample some of your produce, if we may. By all means, help yourself. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? Where to begin indeed. Over there. It is hidden by the quest icons, although if I had actually just looked around, I would have seen it. We have grapes. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes. Let's see if they are as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like ripe philosopher carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that certainly gave me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher carrot. But tell me, what are your opinion of grapes? I had braved an erupting volcano for a choice bunch. Meh. Ghastly things. I'd rather eat rancid giant toad eyeballs. Let's go with this one because our predecessor literally did this. Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat, which is over there. These apples, oranges? It's a little hard to tell in the dark. Oranges by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the colour? Who cares? Let's eat. Yes. That's, equal parts sweet and sour, as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Urianji about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter? This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavours, so many choices, each individual with their own personal preferences. I see why you all turn up your nose at the idea of eating nothing but carrots, marvellous though they still are in my estimation. Let no one say I said otherwise. But speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in the field over there. Do we actually have carrots? These do not look like carrots, these look like pumpkins. That colour, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrot? Nope. No? In any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. It's so hard and flavourless. It may well be chewed or may well be chewing a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as godly carrots. Stop. Can't you see these are pumpkins? and no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew is one of my favourite dishes, for as long as I can remember. Then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder, though, if there's anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Are these limes? These should be incredibly bitter if they're limes. What a wondrous fragrance. With luck, it'll have a flavour to match. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. Yeah! My tongue! Is this poison? A lemon! Oh yeah, limes are green. My bad. You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? This may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I'd best call an end to the round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges, less so the pumpkins, though I learned the hard way that they are not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon, the deceiver. I feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth, in more ways than one. So I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If it doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn the opportunity to... Ooh, a bit of sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin, do your worst. This is delicious! Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough and creates the perfect harmony. I would never have guessed this vile bitterness could be utilised so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See? We rarely use lemons in its natural state, but it has a stir-in role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes there can even be differences between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the forum agonises over what is worth preserving, and whatever will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we are to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know what Hydaelyn sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loprrits, were both born of the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about nature, of sentient life, and the fate of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable idea. 'Tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the cost incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dream forever unfulfilled. What then is the alternate? What lies in the knowledge that our existence can never be perfected, or never be perfect? To be content with what we have and make the most of it? That wasn't a question, but yet I enunciated it as a question. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. Ted Johnson would like to have a word with you. Pardon my Eorzean, but what in the seven hells are you on about? And who are you, anyway? Cookingway, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But do not worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Etheirys' specialties as possible, species as possible, if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course, I look forward to it. Well, this has all been highly productive. Perhaps we should go see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? I will meet you over there. This will take a little while to get back. And we're here. Oh, there you are. Have the others finished talking about rain-making what's-its yet? Why didn't Growingway come with us? I mean, that was literally the farm. Where have you and Cookingway been? If you two were engaged in pursuit of an educational nature, you should have taken me too. I am the leader after all. Not to rub it in, but we had the most fascinating time while you were away. Urianger has been able to obtain all manner of meteorological data for us to pore over. I'll be sure to put my newfound knowledge to good use once we return to the moon. It is my duty to make your journey as comfortable as possible, though here there is no telling how long that'll be. 100 years? 1,000? Probably closer to 5,000, give or take. By Cookingway's broad grin, I assume your excursion was a roaring success. That was the most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffins. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for the cuisine? Last Gnosis has a culinarian guild, and many less than savoury establishments. The Bismarck is probably the best place to go. Would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Etheirys, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelin's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way. We're working on it, don't worry. Okay, while I probably am cutting about 2 minutes or a couple of minutes of footage, which means this is going to be very close to 40 minutes, we'll leave it there because it's almost tea time and I've been going for almost 3 hours. No, we have been going 3 hours. So yeah, it's time I took a break is what I'm trying to say. So thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed the show, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheerio!